you. So get those comments in.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and a very warm welcome to yet another edition of the Red and Blue Review. It only seems like 2 minutes ago we were last on, but welcome to each and every one of you. Wherever you are listening in the world, wherever you're watching in the world. If you're watching us live on YouTube, you're all very welcome. Especially to Lord Noble, who I know will be resting on his sun lounger, probably mid-deck somewhere. He's got his budgie smugglers on, I'm sure he has. And he'll be listening with this in his ears. So, Ian, if you're listening, mate, you're very welcome, and good evening and good afternoon to you, or wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a great time. So, I'm shortly going to be joined by an unusual lineup this week. Okay, first of all, not so unusual is my wingman, Jel Paul. Jel boy, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. Thank you. Hope everyone else is good too. You're
looking well, though. I've got to say, for somebody who's been through what you've been through over the last year, you're actually looking all right.
Trying.
Good man. Good man. Get back to it. We need you. We need you out in the workplace. And the real panel, aka Paul Gear. What?
Just quickly, the thought of Mr. Noble in a pair of budgies.
Paul Gear, good evening, mate. How are you? Let's change the subject.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, all good this week. Yes, another couple of good wins last week. Always starts the following week off nicely, doesn't it?
We are the winning team, and we are the winning team here as well. Because look, back by popular demand, and it's been a while, boys. Azza and his son Leo. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not too bad. Thanks.
Az, you all right, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad. Everyone all right?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to see you at Fulham the other day. I don't know. Was I actually sober when I saw you?
I don't know. I weren't, so.
Again, there's a shock. Listen, Leo, how many times have you been on the show now?
Twice.
This is your second time, is it? And tell everybody that can't see you, because obviously there's people listening back on a podcast after the show. How old are you, mate?
10.
10. And how long have you been following Palace?
Around 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years.
4 years.
Right.
I think.
I want you. Sorry, mate. Say again, Az.
I was going to say 4 years. I think 4th year is a season ticket holder, and obviously we're away season ticket holders as well this year. So
the next generation, the proper next generation of Palace fans. So after we're long gone, he'll be there holding up the Palace end. Right, Leo. How many grounds have you been to?
30.
You've been to 30 grounds.
Yeah.
Do you realise Jel Paul didn't even know there was 30 grounds? He's only been to about 3, okay, in all his life as a Palace fan. 30 grounds for a 10-year-old, mate. You are a hero. Congratulations, buddy. Well done. And how many have you been to, Az? Is it just the same?
No. I think I've done 38, 39.
Yeah, it's still mightily impressive. It's putting me to shame, really. And what about you, Paul?
I think I'm on about 75. I think so. Yeah, done
75. Mind you, you are getting on a bit now, so you've been around a lot longer than the rest of us.
Yeah, a lot longer than Leo.
A lot longer than Leo. Yeah, we've all been. Michael, do you know what? I'm trying to work out how many at his age I'd been to. Probably, seriously, only a couple. And Rob Cranfield says Joe is so old, his first Palace game was at the Nest, is what he said in the chat. So if you are watching in the chat, I can see your comments live. Yaz, thanks for that image. Right, Ian Noble and his budgie smugglers. Right, talking about Yaz, and nice to have you out there. I do have a message somewhere before we kick off. Paul's going to cover both the Villa game and the Millwall game in some details, just to prove that we are absolutely live. Crystal Palace under-21s are about to kick off at the BBS Stadium for the second half of their game. They are currently 1-0 up against Arsenal. The goal was scored by Zach Marsh in the 27th minute and was assisted by the lesser-spotted França, young França. And he played very well as well. And he is playing quite well. And I'm keeping the tabs on the FA Cup 5th round game between Forest and Ipswich. And it's the 34th minute, and that's currently 0-0. So just to prove that we are absolutely live, Chris Ball says, as at Leo. That's all he says, as at Leo. I don't know what, I presume that's good evening, lads. I don't know. Right, I have a message from Lord Saunders, Grant Saunders, who 2 weeks ago ran probably the best boat that we've had up and down the Thames. We went back to, I don't know if you're aware, I'm going to bore you all with it anyway. Last year, we went over to a bigger boat and it wasn't as successful. The blast off were poor. It was just queues. This year, we went back to the old MV Royalty boat, to do the Fulham game 2 weeks ago. And I'm telling you now, for those of you who've never done one before, it was fantastic. Okay? Now, in light of what happened yesterday with the FA Cup draw, he sends a message to you all. Get in quick. We've only got 2 weeks to do this, people. So if you're interested in what I'm about to read out, get on with it, okay? Following the fantastic feedback given by all from all over the place and the want of another one, guess what? Backed by popular demand, we are announcing a second boat of the season, Fulham versus Crystal Palace, and this time in the FA Cup quarterfinals. Not much time to get things done, and as soon as match details and kickoff times are announced by the Fat Cats, we will get cracking. Before that, he needs to know proposed names and numbers. So please, if you intend to join us on another morning bobbing up and down on Old Father Thames, either send me a message or send him a message, or put a message in the chat here on, if you're watching on YouTube, of how many people you want in your party. Let me know, okay, and I'll pass it on to Grant, and he'll start compiling the details that he needs straight away. He must have names, people. He has to complete a manifest for safety reasons. So I want to go with 2 people, won't work, okay? I want to go with X, Y, and Z, okay? So please make sure you put your names down. As soon as we get the date confirmed, and if our lovely boat people are available still, he'll be collecting your monies all as per normal, all pretty much the same as 2 weeks ago, and it's all good to go. Thank you, and I hope to see you all on board very soon. From Grant Saunders. So if you've never done one before, okay, and you fancy you, and I've got to tell you now, this one will sell out and sell out quick. So do not hang about thinking, can I get a ticket? Can I get a ticket? Don't forget the FA Cup, we have a larger allocation. So there'll be more tickets available. Paul, what is our allocation for that game? Do you know, roughly?
I've heard rumours it's going to be about just over 4,000.
4,000. And the last away game, how many did we have? 2.5.
I think it was 2.9. I think it was the only downside is that obviously it's not a Premier League game, so the £30 away cap doesn't apply. So knowing Fulham's ticket pricing, it could be quite scary.
I reckon somewhere between 50 and 60 quid would be my bet. And Jel, you look like that, mate, but that's prices that were they charging Man United similar sort of prices a couple of weeks ago. Man United
charged Fulham and Leicester in the last 2 rounds between 51 and 60. So yeah.
Yeah, so seriously, if you are interested, Rob says get a bigger boat. Well, Rob, we tried that before, and we don't want a bigger boat because it didn't work. It was too many queues. So it's simply going to be first come, first serve. I will be there on the day, of course, okay, supporting Grant, doing whatever it is I do on the boat for him. Monty's saying we're going to get 6,000. Mick, I don't think there's as many as that, mate, but good evening to you, buddy. I hope you are well. And he's right what he's saying. No, we do get the whole away end, and we will get the whole away end, and that's quite a large stand, isn't it? So I don't know if that is. I don't know what the number is, but we'll soon find out. So get on with it. Get your names down. Come and join us. Let's have a party before the game kicks off. So we are going to be covering obviously the Villa game and the Millwall games, and there's obviously lots to talk about in the Millwall games. Leo, just so I know, did you go to both games?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was quite a scary incident on the second game, wasn't it, with Mateta? What did you think of that goalkeeper?
Idiot.
There you go. Good night, everybody. That's all we need. Good night, everyone. Well done, mate. Listen, Paul, I'm going to hand over to you so I can shut up for a minute. Would you please cover up the Villa game? Nige, could we have the lineup for the Villa game on screen, please, mate?
Yep, so Paul, that was our lineup for the league game. Pretty much the same team has been played recently, except with the exception of Adam Walton making his long-awaited league return. He played at Doncaster a couple of weeks before, but then still been eased back a bit, I think. So, yeah, it was good to get him back in the lineup. And as we've come to, he had a brilliant game for a first game back. But, yeah, so it's pretty much our standard team. Started the game fairly well on the front foot. First real chance, though, was to Villa. They had a bit of a good cross in the box, and Tielemans was flying in with a header, and he put it wide. But that was pretty much the cue for us to start attacking them, really. So we started going forward. Munoz was particularly down the wing a lot and all this sort of stuff. And we eventually crack the nut and get the first goal. Well-worked goal. Eze got the ball down the left-hand side, managed to get the ball across. It went to the other side of the box, who found its way back to Walton, who crossed it in. And Richards headed it back across the goal. Good save from Martinez. And luckily, Sarr was first most alert and smacked in the rebound. So that was his second goal against Villa this season, also on his birthday. So it was nice to score on your birthday.
Unsung hero so far, Paul. Unsung hero so far this season. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I mean, that was his first goal in 10 games, and he seems to go in spurts. But he's the kind of player certainly that I think we need in the formation we play, because he gets the ball and he runs with it, and that's really what those players at him and Eze in that role are there for. They're supposed to get the ball from midfield and take us up the pitch. And yeah, he's been very good since he came into the team. He was eased in at the start, I think, obviously getting used to the formation, getting used to the team. But since he's a fixture now, one of the first names on the team sheet. So yeah, long may that continue, and he continued that all through the night. So, yeah, 1-0 up, and then we tried to press home the advantage. He had another chance, had a good run through, had a first shot. It was saved by Martinez, and the rebound sort of hit him, so you couldn't really control it. But he put it wide, and again you start to worry about not taking your chances. Then Mateta had found himself in the edge of the box and dragged the shot wide, which he probably should have done a bit better with. And yeah, you like in the previous home games, you're sort of thinking, well, we're going to rue these missed chances. You can't keep giving these chances up and expect to stay in front. And sure enough, Villa had an attack, played a ball through to Watkins, who got to the byline, pulled it back, and Rodgers put the ball in the back of the net. Looked all for the world an equaliser. Thankfully, our beloved VAR started wanting to check the goal. And I was quite surprised, because when I first saw it, I thought Watkins was quite a way offside, so I wasn't too worried about it. But when you look at it back, it was pretty close. But he was offside, as the lines thankfully showed. So goal was ruled out. So, yeah, half-time, 1-0 up, pretty much in control of the game. And, yeah, just a shame that we weren't further ahead, really, because we know what's happening there. And then we had a bit of a bizarre one at half-time, something else I know the on-pitch presenter had never seen before. But yeah, obviously Martinez was going to come off, so their reserve goalkeeper decided he wanted to warm up, which is probably fair enough. But yeah, it led to quite an interesting debate, I think, between our on-pitch presenter and yeah, he wasn't going to move. We tried to move him, and he was standing his ground and saying all sorts of things, I imagine. But yeah, full-star guys down the other end, and all he did was contrive to get himself booed for the entire second half, because yeah, he was public enemy number one after that behaviour. So yes, that was quite an interesting one.
What was that all about? I just don't get it. Just move up the other end. I mean, both you could argue. Go on, Joe.
Well, the irony was that all the water was being sprayed down that end, and they just stopped it when the kids come out. It could have just gone down to the Holmesdale end. No one would have said anything to him. No one gets pelters at half time, managed to do something stupid, but to do that. To just, I mean, he mugged himself off. He made himself look stupid. And the worst part about it, there were 2 Villa kids there as well. The 4 kids. The thing is, this is what he misses the point, right? And most people that have argued in favour of him have missed the point. Is at half time, the subs come along, they have a little knockabout, right? But the half time is always about the kids. Always has been, forever, about the kids. 2 of theirs, 2 of ours. So, trying to just it's so childish that he didn't just go down the other end or move over. I mean, I just didn't get it. And he was going down to the Holmesdale in the second half anyway. When he came on for Martinez. So I didn't get it. And he rightly so. I'm so glad. I mean, I booed myself horse over him. Really, really. It was quite. I thought it was pathetic, really, of him, pro footballer acting like that.
A couple of things before you move on, Paul. I just want to mention that the under-21s, after a bit of a goalkeeping howler, have just let in an equaliser. Okay, and it's now 1-1 in the 56th minute. Very poor. A couple of people I want to say hello to out in the chat. Griff, I know you're out there, mate. I hope you're well, buddy. Give me a ring. I've got something I want to talk to you about. Give me a buzz, Griff. And Quentin has just said, Leo. 5 minutes, mate. It's bedtime, okay? If you haven't seen it in the chat, keep your eye on the chat if you can't see it. People have been saying hello to you guys. What was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, Leo, have you ever done that half-time challenge?
No.
No,
Have a word with the old man. Get it sorted out, okay?
he's had a mascot day. He's walked out with Gay and he got his shirt. I think that was the last time he come in. We come on the show, I think, not long after that. So was that last season?
Okay. So now you need, so to get the whole set, you now need to do the half-time challenge, all right? So get your old man to get in touch with the club and get it sorted out, all right? Right, on you go, Paul. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's right. The only other note of interest in the first half was I said before the game to Yaz and Ian, the people around me, I said it wouldn't surprise me if Will Hughes got booked tonight because he was on one booking away from a ban, and the next 2 games he'd be banned for Ipswich and Southampton, and be back for Brighton, which is probably not the worst scenario. And sure enough, in the first half, he managed to get his booking. So yeah, he's now facing a 2-game league ban.
And he gave a wry smile when it happened. Did you not see it? I mean, okay, I've got to own up here. I'm guilty as charged, okay? I did a bit of a schoolboy that night, okay? I came home from work and I thought to myself, I don't really want to go. I can't get up there inside and get to the ground and all the rest of it and meet up with the usual mob and do it inside. I just didn't have time. So I blew it out, okay? Only till later watch it on the telly and we go and win 4-1. But it was one of those things where I didn't have the time to get up there or the inclination, if I'm brutally honest. A schoolboy error. Anyway, sorry, mate, I interrupted you again. Keep going.
So yeah, second half started, and sure enough, within a few minutes, our wasted chances in the first half came back to haunt us. It was a pretty sloppy goal to concede, really. It was a big long ball from the keeper. Rogers it bounced about bobbling around, and he managed to spin and take the ball early, which I think was what Henderson didn't have a chance with in that respect. So yeah, we're very early on back to 1-1, and you sort of think, well, are they going to get the impetus now a bit? And it sort of spurred them on a little bit, but we soon got back into our rhythm and were soon back on the front foot. Again, I think Mitchell was particularly he was good. He was good at Fulham the other day, and he played it. He had a good game the other day. He was a lot more attacking. Whether Villa in the first half played 3 at the back, they tried to match us up, but they went back to a back 4 in the second half. So it gave our wing backs a bit more space to go forward, which they did. And eventually that paid off because Munoz won the ball back on the right hand side. Sarr then played it inside, got crunched at the same time to Walton, who played a lovely first time ball into Eze, who was bundled over in the box, but the ref carried on, and it fell to Mateta, who rasped the shot into the far corner with his left foot, off to the corner flag, boom, back in front. Really good goal. What do you think of the goal, Jel?
Yeah, brilliantly worked. And like you say, the foul on Eze, been a lot of bad fouls on our players lately. But yeah, I mean, fantastic finish. I mean, there's a classic still from, and do you know what? That's exactly about where I was sitting from where that was taken. Great finish on his left foot. I mean, he's left or right footed, Mateta, and it doesn't really matter. So, but yeah, deserved as well.
Yeah, no, it was a great goal. And then, as I say, we kept on going, kept trying to push home the advantage. Again, the ball came out, was swung out. Walton, beautiful control on his chest, brought it down to Munoz, crossed it, and first time volley from Sarr into the bottom corner. Second goal on his birthday. Did you go mad at that point, Leo?
You
enjoy that goal?
Yeah.
This goal.
So yeah, 3-1 up, and Villa rocking, and as I say, we were in control at that point. We were having lots of shots, and keeper was getting booed and saving stuff. So he was getting his karma for his halftime antics. Game was basically petering out. There was another lovely move with Walton played a 1-2 in his own half, and the first time ball through to Eze. His first touch was just slightly off the pace, and couldn't take advantage of that. But yeah, a few changes came in. Kamada came on. I think Chilwell came on. Obviously, we had a 3-game week, so it was best to rest some players. But then right at the end, we got probably the icing on the cake and something we've been wanting for a while. Kamada put it out to Mitchell, who managed to put the ball across, a very good cross. And there was Eddie Nketiah to get his first league goal for us, which we're hoping will unleash sort of a snowball effect. And he's been, Glasner said after the game, he's been the model professional. He knows he's behind Mateta in the pecking order, but he doesn't let him affect him. And he's got to be ready when he gets a chance. And yeah, it's a goal he can't miss, but it's probably the best thing for his confidence. It's always good to get that little thing off your back when you haven't scored a league goal for your club. So yeah,
to finish, mate, if you don't mind, I'm going to say something, and it really grates me what I'm about to say. Okay, and I can't stand the thought that I'm actually going to say I think Jel might actually have something right here. He said a few weeks ago on the show that if Nketiah gets the chance, if he bangs one in, he could easily follow it up with quite a few if he gets a run in the scene. And sadly, he looks as though he's proved to be correct. Boys, Azza and Leo, keep your eye on the chat. Ian Lyons has just said in the chat, isn't it great to have a good pundit on for a change? Meaning you, mate. I think he's been rude to me if I'm brutally honest. But you're saying lots of nice people say things about you in the chat. So where were you sitting when Mateta scored his goal, Leo? Marge, put that picture back up.
Opposite the Arthur away, was it?
Yeah, we're in the main stand, block G.
Right. Sadly, I don't know the blocks. No, the goal, Nige. So, were you in line with that?
We pretty much between the halfway line and the semi D on the edge of the box. So we like.
Is that called the director's box?
Not quite, no.
So, for the benefit of the people that weren't listening pre-show, and we know Mateta scored that evening, and we know he's been poorly. Tell everybody that Mateta once asked for your photograph. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I know
I'm not
him.
going to tell them how. I'm not going to tell them why. Okay, I'll keep that quiet. Okay, tell everybody about Mateta having your picture.
Yeah, so I met him for various reasons, and basically we sort of said goodbye afterwards, and he just turned around and said to me, "Oh, if you want, you can take a photo with me." I was like, "Yes, please." Took a photo with him. Should have sent it over to you actually. We could have popped it up, but great guy, and I'm sure we'll come on to it.
We will indeed.
Next part, but yeah, great guy.
And sad news on the 63rd minute at the VBS Stadium in Sutton, Arsenal just taken a 2-1 lead against Palace. Okay, so we are now 2-1 down. Jel Paul, sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, so that's pretty much the end of that game. If we can see the stats from it, it was a well-deserved win. There's only 3 defeats in the last 15 games. So I read a stat as well, which online the other day, suggesting that I think since the beginning of November, or since we lost to Fulham, we've got the 3rd most points in the division. So league form has been outstanding. It was nice to get a home win. Obviously, we've been winning all these away games. And again, like Nketiah's goal, it's good to get that pressure off the shoulders and the monkey off the back, so to speak, to get that home win. And hopefully it will push us on to get some more home points.
Joe.
Just going back to Olsen, because it was, with great glee that he was booed throughout the half. But he's played 1.5 games at Selhurst Park in 2 years, conceded 8 goals.
Now that's a stat I didn't know about. Is he right, Paul?
Well, he was in goal. He was in goal for the 5-0 last year.
Yeah,
and he conceded 3 the other night. So 8 in 1.5 games. So never moan about our goalkeeper, all right?
That's why he was warming up so much.
So I'm going to move on, if you don't mind, to news from around the club. And for those that you're not aware, Crystal Palace women confirmed on Friday that Laura Kaminski had left the club with immediate effect. Steve Parish has said that this has been an extremely difficult decision for the club to take. Laura has made a fantastic impact. Well, obviously not that fantastic, is it? Impact since arriving from the summer of 2023, getting the club promoted to the WSL for the first time in their history. On the following day, literally the following day, Crystal Palace women then announced on the Saturday the appointment of somebody called, and you're going to have to forgive my pronunciation here, Leif Smerud as manager. He's a 48-year-old Norwegian that enjoyed domestic and international success, coaching at the highest level for both women and men's games. Most recently guiding Norway's men's under-21 side to own its 3rd ever under-21 European Championship final in 2023. So we wish Leif, or whatever his name is, absolute massive success. Okay, I think he's got a bit of a mountain to climb. It was always going to be a tough ask in the WSL, as it's proved to be the case. It happened last year. Whoever came up from the Championship the year before went straight back down again. Bristol off the top of my head. was it Bristol? And now Palace are doing exactly the same thing. The chances of them getting out of this, however, yes, I'll come on to their games in a minute. They lost 1-0 against Liverpool, but from what I understand, their performance was greatly improved, okay, especially at the back. They still let in the 1 goal. And one other thing I would like to do, Instagram, Nigel, if I can. I've had a message from Tom Clark Samuel. He's getting lots more traffic on the Instagram channel. Please give him a like, share, or follow. Whatever you do on Instagram, it's red_and_blue_review. Please give it a like, share, or follow. Get involved. He works tirelessly on there for us, doing all these graphics and quizzes and all that sort of stuff. And you can also follow us on Twitter, or X as it is, okay, at red_blue_review. Give us a like, share, and follow on there, and say hello. Tell them Nick sent you, okay? And Ian Noble runs that account for us, okay? I have nothing to do with technology. I'm not safe with buttons in my hand, okay? I am not safe with any buttons in my hand, so I don't get involved in any of that. And the irony behind all that, and I'm the first to admit I'm rubbish on technology, and the irony in the committee chat, the Red and Blue Review committee chat, is that they're short of a producer in a couple of weeks' time for varying reasons. Nigel can't make it, and Lucy can't make it. One of them that have been criticising me for 5 years now said, well, I know, let's train Nick up to do it so he can produce and present at the same time. Oh, yeah, that's going to happen. What could go wrong, people? Anything? No, I don't think so. Right, okay, so we're going to go straight in, if you don't mind, Paul, we're going to go straight in to the Millwall game. And obviously the Millwall game was full of controversy and God knows what else. It was great to, if I'm honest with you, it was great to get pulled up against the old rivals again. You know, some would argue these days that it's more of a passionate rivalry against Millwall than it ever was against Brighton. And certainly, if you look at what happened in the stands in the after-wait, just after kickoff on Saturday, you would say that that's a passion spilling over onto the terraces like the old days it was with Brighton. It doesn't seem to be that way anymore. I have to say, before you, Paul, you get into it, a massive congratulations to the club. Leo, close your ears, mate. I'm about to swear. Okay, warning, Nick's about to swear. Warning, Nick's about to swear. Okay, there was massive congratulations to the club for the shithousery that they did before the game. So they're on screen, and for the benefit of those listening to the podcast, we're showing an image on screen that I took about an hour before kickoff, was where the fabric cloth that they put between the sets of supporters was laid out on purpose by the club, dividing the Millwall fans to the Palace fans in the after-wait. Now, South London is ours, South London is ours. We all know that bit, okay? But instead of choosing black fabric across the whole divide between them, the two nearest strips of fabric that they chose to use is South London and Proud in red and blue, all the way up there. And whoever thought about that, to me, I didn't miss the opportunity to take that picture. I thought it was very clever by the club. A little bit of shithousery. Well done, Crystal Palace. Paul, over to you with the lineups, please.
Yep, so here's the lineup. Cup match, so there's always going to be a couple of changes. Glasner said on Friday that Matt Turner would play, so he seems to be the cup keeper at this point. So, yeah, he was back.
Don't hate me for interrupting you, but Palace just equalised. It's now 2-2 at the BBS Stadium. Sorry, mate.
That's all right. That's all good news. And then, so Chilwell came in for Mitchell and Lerma came back in for Walton. I said to my dad before the game that it wouldn't surprise me if Walton wasn't playing, because it wouldn't surprise me if Millwall tried to kick lumps out of our players, and I didn't realise how prophetic that would be. But, so the game started and, straight into the main event of the match, really. So I'll have my say on this and then we'll go around the table with it. So, Hughes plays the ball forward and Mateta goes through it and the keeper comes flying out. And, we all know what he did to him. At the time, I saw it and thought it was a pretty awful challenge. I wasn't too distressed that Oliver didn't blow it straight away because it went to Munoz and I thought he was going to chip it into the open goal. I just thought once that didn't happen, he would bring it back and rightly send the goalie off. But he didn't even seem to give a foul, and he was explaining to Hughes and to Gahey why he'd not given a decision or anything. Thankfully, VAR decided to intervene, sent him over to the screen, and again, I don't know why it took him so long. It just one look should have been enough, but he came back and obviously sent him off. Now, to me, it's one of the worst not even sure I'd say challenge or tackles I've ever seen, and it's I mean, it's no exaggeration. It could have ended his career, could have killed him ultimately. But I think that the FA need to show some balls on this one and give him a 5 or 6 game ban. This is more than just the standard 3 game ban. We can worry about why the ref didn't see it, all this sort of stuff. I mean, once the goalie comes out of his box, he needs to be treated like an outfield player. And if an outfield player had done that, he would be looking at a huge long ban. Now, there's no intent. I don't think he's come out deliberately to do them. If you have instances where players want to do other players, and you wait to the end of the game, you don't do it in the 5th minute. So I don't think he meant it, but that's still no excuse. He needs to get a long ban just to show it's not acceptable. I mean, it was. Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse for that to come out like that. If you're going to come and head it, there's phrases commentators use, certainly for goalkeepers, when they say, "Oh, if you don't get the ball, don't let the man get past you." Or from when they come out, you've got to take everything with you. There's a line to that, and that was so far past the line. It was ridiculous. So I think they need to give him a longer ban, even just to set an example to other players to say you can't do that. It is too dangerous. And like I say, to be honest, how he's got away with. as trouble free as it looks like, hopefully he has got away with, is just such a stroke of luck, because like I say, that could have put him out for, if not ever, for a long time. So yeah, pretty appalling. Straight 10 minutes on the ground, straight to hospital. But yeah, I mean, it was a shocker. Jel, do you want to have a go?
Yeah, so I mean, I see one of my mates commented on a post on the Red and Blue News earlier. And he basically said, once the goalkeeper leaves his area, he becomes an outfield player. An outfield player does that. So another outfield player, then he gets a red card. But that was an assault. I don't care. Listen, he ain't a kid. He's 30 years old, that goalkeeper. He's got loads of experience. I'm not saying he did it deliberately, but he needs to pay for that mistake. And a free game ban. He's their second goalkeeper anyway. I don't even think he's their first. But yeah, so that wouldn't be good enough for a 3 game ban for me. I think he needs to be, literally hauled across the cold. I don't think he should play again this season. I've seen less at Selhurst Park when that idiot jumped in and tried to kick a fan of ours in the face. He didn't even kick him, right? And he got an 8-month ban. So, I don't really. For me, that's unacceptable, completely and utterly unacceptable. And yeah, I mean, there's a load of stuff. So, firstly, had that been had that been Haaland, Salah, any of the top strikers, that referee would have stopped that immediately. I was amazed that seeing him get kicks just floored the way that he did. Just take the kick out of it in the face, that the referee didn't go immediately to him. It was so obvious he was hurt. It's ridiculous. And then all he had to do was just look at him, get his hand out of the way. You would have seen the blood. Apparently he's got a big gash behind his ear. I mean, there's a load of things. And then for him to be told, this guy's refereed the World Cup, refereed European games. He's appalling. I don't think he should referee this season either. He needs to go back to school. I just everything about that whole, and then the commentators, Jonathan Pierce, been around 30 years commentating. Even he bottled it. Everyone's afraid to say stuff these days. It's just, everyone just goes, oh no, after you. And now what we're doing, we're letting computers make their mind up. It's just it's ridiculous. If he doesn't want to do it, then take the referee out of the equation completely and just let the cameras and someone has Stuckley Park ref the game. He's a bottler, Oliver, and I'll tell you what, it becomes a Selhurst Park again. We should absolutely hound him. That's disgraceful.
Thank you, mate. I'm going to throw a little bit of context into it in a little bit. I can't believe it. I'm going to be sort of sitting on the fence in a minute. I'm going to do it slightly different. As you next, please, mate. Yeah,
no, I was just going to echo what everyone's been saying, really. But you compare it to, was it Anthony Gordon's red card as well? And, just the difference. He definitely should be given, an extra ban for what he done. As we said, dangerous. And you also hear, as you say, if it hit him face on, it could have ended his career. He shouldn't be doing that, that far out, coming out his box. And, yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it seemed like an accident, but... who knows, really?
Leo, that's not something you actually want to see at a football stadium, is it, ever? That was awful. I mean, I'm going to, Paul, I'm going to come back to you in a second. I'm going to give I don't normally do. I invite the guests in to speak. But I'm going to throw a little bit of context into this and bring everybody down a little bit. Lee Lock was just said in the chat that he was actually, I don't know why, Lee, you were on the North Stand chat, but you were. And he just said in there a minute ago that he was on the North Stand chat. And even the Brighton fans have sent well wishes to JP Mateta, which we all do, of course. Now, look, there is two ways of looking at this. He didn't mean to do it. I don't think it was deliberate. He was outside the box. It was a head injury. Okay, the referee should have stopped it the minute it happened, regardless of whether Munoz was going to chip the goalkeeper. He still should have stopped the game. It was a head injury after all. So under those rules, guidelines, he should have stopped the game. If that was to happen in the high street, down your local high street, this guy would immediately get arrested, okay, and he'd probably do time for what he did. If you look at the size of JP Mateta, he came out of his goal and hit him in the head. JP was off the ground, okay, and so JP's 6'3", 6'4", I believe, and he still managed to kick him in the head. Okay, it was reckless, it was late, it was stupid. Everything that everybody's actually said. But to hear people saying, even Griff just said out in the chat that he should have been nicked. It's a game of football. It's a contact sport. I know it was an awful challenge. I know it was an awful challenge, Jel, and it was an awful challenge. But at the end of the day, the guy is playing a contact sport with all the rush of blood, with all the what's going on in the game. It's a local derby and everything else. It was a rush of blood, okay? And he made a mistake. It was a bad, awful challenge. I get it. But it's a sport. It's a contact sport, Jel.
No, it's not. It's not a contact sport anymore. There's a difference between contacts and absolutely taking someone out of the game. There will be a few people, Paul will remember this, and you'll remember this, Nick. There was a goalkeeper called Willie Schumacher who took out a guy called Patrick Batterston with one of the worst tackles ever, right? Everybody of our age that remembered that, we wanted to tackle, he just basically took him out. And that's what he's done. That's what their goalkeeper's done. It's as bad as that. But this is the way to make this completely understandable. If Mateta hadn't have turned his head sideways, whatever he's got cut behind there would have happened on there. Look at the full-on picture. They're wearing blades now. They're not wearing studs, so he might have had a couple of big holes or a couple of... These are blades. These rip you. These tear skin, right? If he'd have done that, he literally could have maimed him for life. I'm not having that because they were up for that game. They took every single opportunity to kick Chilwell, just to kick out. So, I mean, they just kept kicking Eze. The referee offered no protection for our players. It was ridiculous. So for me, I'm not taking that. It was so bad that I'm not taking that as a bit of exuberance. I'm not taking that at all. I'm just taking that he's a Millwall player. We're Palace, South London derby, going to smash him. Don't care. And that's what they do, don't they? We always say it when a goalkeeper comes out to catch the ball. If you can't catch it, smash the player. That's what you do. You go out and you smash everyone. But you don't smash him with your foot 6 foot in the air and kick someone in the head. I just say it's beyond reckless. Like literally, it's beyond reckless. I'd like to hear one of those idiots from that club come out and defend him. And they just go, oh, yeah, who cares? Yeah, all they're doing, if they ban him, they make him a martyr anyway. They'll make songs up about that. They're such a dumb club. I hate them. I just can't get my head around how, and then Mateta's on the floor for 10 minutes. Something bad's happened to him. So what do they see? Let him die. Let him die. It's like going back to 1983. Ed Millwall is a club stuck in the early 80s. Literally, in the early 80s. All they want to do is fight, get pissed, do drugs, and watch their players smash people. We're not talking about Terry Erlock anymore. But, Tony Cascarino and all them old boys went back then that got away with murders. This is modern day football. You can't assault someone like that on the pitch. I hope that geezer don't play football. And honestly, that the FA sling the book at him, whack him for a right load of dough, because it can only be the Football Association, can't be the champion, can't be the Football League, and it can't be the Premier League. It's got to be the Football Association. Grow a pair of balls. And, we've done them the biggest favour in getting that idiot club out of the FA Cup by beating them, but they can't take all those animals away anymore. You don't have... When was the last time we had a police presence like that? Don't even get that police presence when Brighton turn up. It's a scandalous football club. I have huge ties with Millwall through their players, owners and everything over the years. But honestly, it is like going back to in the early 1980s. They're so backward in everything. Everything. I mean, I'm fuming about it. I would literally ban that geezer. He wouldn't play again for the rest of the season.
Right, we're going to come on to the rest of the Millwall stuff. Paul, I am coming to you. I just wanted to read out Paul Bristow's comments in the chat for the benefit of those that can't see it, okay? And he says, I was 30 yards from it, Jel. And I was 30 yards from it, Jel, and I didn't realise the intensity of the challenge until I saw it again. Michael Oliver dealt with it perfectly after being lambasted 3 weeks ago for bringing out his red card too quickly. On Saturday, he took his time, used all the resources, and got his decision correct. Okay, Paul, over to you.
Just Ipswich have just gone in front, by the way. In their case.
Just really quickly. So I'm really sorry. I'll just bring one more thing. Freeze frame. When his boot is in the air, right? Freeze frame. Watch that actually happen. And in freeze frame where Michael Oliver is. Freeze frame where he is. Yeah, 15. He's 15 metres away, Nick.
Yeah, I saw it.
How did you miss that?
Yeah, Michael Oliver shouldn't need any other resources to know that's a red card. And just the last part on that, the scary thing is if it had been the last round, there was no VAR, so you'd have got away with it. So that we know about that, and as we'll probably come to at the end, the aftermath and how JP's doing all that. But yeah, just to finish off the game really. Once that happened, I mean, the game should have been over at that point. Once we were at the extra man, we were always hopefully going to go on and win. Nketiah obviously came on for Mateta, had the ball in the net very quickly, but Oliver got the decision right there. He spotted there was a handball. Obviously, we have the obligatory VAR check, and that confirmed that he did hit his hand on the way in. We soon got in front, though. We had a corner, worked his way back out to Eze, who played it back to Hughes, who fizzed one across the box, and very kindly, Joseph I can't even say his name.
Tanganga.
Tanganga, that's the one. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, he very kindly bulleted a header back into his net for us. So, they were very kindly giving us the first goal. Then 20 minutes, we were on top all game. We were pushing them first half, and like I say, it was more goals were coming. And then just before 5 minutes before half time, we got the second goal again. The ball bouncing around. Munoz puts it in. Linesman puts his flag up. I was pretty sure it wasn't a problem because Munoz was pointing to the fact that it obviously came off a defender, and Michael Oliver actually got this one right as well. He went over to the linesman to say to him, "What did you see?" Because he thought it came off, and he then gives the goal, which again the AR double checks. But yeah, the Millwall chap tried to clear it, hit his own man, so Munoz can't be offside. So 2-0, and really you think that's game over. So we then get 13 minutes stoppage time. Obviously, with all the VAR checks and obviously the injury, and about
Tanganga, okay, Joe, you wanted to make a point about Tanganga.
Yeah, I mean he scored the own goal, great finish, and then his mate hoofed the ball, it hit him full in the chest. And then it goes to Munoz, so he scored an own goal and an assist. But I don't know if you remember, he played for Spurs a few years ago, and when he came to Sellers Park last time, he kept kicking. Wilf got a yellow, and then he went over the other side and then hoofed Ayew up in the air and got another yellow. So he got sent off. So he's played at Sellers Park twice in 4 years, and he's been sent off, scored an own goal and then assisted. So yeah, he's becoming a bit of an unsung legend, really. Sorry, Paul.
All right. But yeah, so as you say, 13 minutes of stoppage time, which actually in the end benefited Millwall, unfortunately, because right on the stroke of half time, the winger guy managed to wriggle past Munoz and Richards. It was not good defending, and he's managed to pull the ball back, and their Harding's hit a shot which is deflected in off Chilwell. So from being comfortable, it's given Millwall put their tails up a little bit, giving them something to fight for, and realise that they can score a goal with 10 men. So came out second half, and they were actually causing us problems second half. They had a few scrambles in the box. They had a cross that should have been poked in, which wasn't. And yeah, it wasn't the most comfortable second half for us, really, when it should have been. We weren't playing well. I sort of thought perhaps they'd seen the Mateta foul at half time, and it had affected them a bit because they weren't at it in that second half. But we managed to keep them out, and then we got towards the air. 10 minutes to go, we got a free kick in a position we like, actually, which I'll come back to. But yeah, Eze's just wedged it into the box, and Richards has headed it across, and Nketiah has risen, and he's very deliberately headed it back across goal and tried to loop it over the goalkeeper and in off the post. And it was a really, really good header, to be fair to him. He's not the biggest lad, and he said he's been practicing his header. He's got a great header at Arsenal in the Cup in the other match. And again, as we said the other day, hopefully his goal's given him confidence, and that will 2-2. That's a great one. But yeah, the free kick routine seems we scored from a similar free kick at Leicester and at Old Trafford. So we've obviously got some set piece stuff going there, which is good to see. And yeah, 3-1. That really was game over at that point. And yeah, the game just sort of petered out. And yeah, 3-1. We're in the hat. So that's all that really matters.
In the hat we are. Thank you, Paul, and well done for that tonight. So I'll be honest with you, that period in the second half, I still, and you're right, they did come at us a little bit, but I didn't think that we were ever in any threat before Nketiah's goal. It was one of those situations where they could have been knocking on the door most of the day. As you never thought they were going to score, did you?
No, not really. It was I don't know what one of their guys on the left-hand side did, but beat two of our defenders. Just come across, and you're just like, oh God, is it going to be one of those times? And I always find as well, they started the game. They obviously, we shot towards the Holmesdale end, which was a bit odd. We always sort of, don't do too great that way. Obviously second half we come out and sort of prove my point, really. I just don't know. We never seem to attack the same way. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or, maybe not shooting towards the Holmesdale end, but I just find we just don't play the same. Shooting towards the White Horse Lane stand. It's just always different in my opinion.
Okay, mate. Thank you. Lee Clark out in the chat. You obviously missed the top of the show, Lee, because the answer is yes. Go on to Grant Saunders. The Eagles have landed page. The answer is yes. We are running another boat. Okay, but don't hang around, because if you hang around, you are going to miss out. Grant has just texted me, said he's already got, they haven't even announced the date and time of the fixture for the Fulham game yet. Okay, and there's already 110 names on the list, and I think the boat only holds 200 or something silly like that, maybe 230. So if you want to get involved, do it now. Contact Grant Saunders. Right, so we're going to come on to the rest of the FA Cup draw in a minute, and then I want to go just finish up on. Oh, can I have the stats up for the Millwall game, Nice, please? Have you got them there? If you got them there, I'll be very grateful. So there you go. As you would expect, really, predominantly a red screen in front of me. Our possession stats 77%. Total shots 17, 6 on target. We had 3 corners. They actually had 4. Look at the pass completion rate. That shows. I think that this stat here actually shows the difference in the quality of the teams, because they were poor. Palace had 528 passes completed. Millwall had 100. Free kicks 11 to their 7, and offsides 2 against 0. I mean, the pass completion number there, I think, shows the gulf between the two clubs, and hopefully it's going to stay like that for many years. Well done to the home fans. A couple of banners that really seem to rile their supporters. I've seen a couple of the videos, TikTok videos online with reference to when the Holmesdale boys put those banners up. Knuckle draggers go home. South London is ours. It always was and always will be. Extremely good. Right, boys, before I get on to the other teams since the last show, just to let you know, in the 90th minute at the VBS Stadium, it's still 2-2, and the Forest game is still 1-0 to Ipswich. I want to talk about a subject now. There was one amusing thing that happened just on kickoff, and one disturbing thing happened from their fans during the game. So the amusing one was where one of their knuckle draggers decided to climb over the the netting to try to get at the Palace fans. One bloke on his own was going to take on the rest of the Crystal Palace crowd. He managed to get across. One bloke swung at him. Okay, he fell backwards. He didn't hit him. He then fell backwards into the seats, where about 5 Palace fans then jumped on top of him and gave him what he actually deserved. Which, I mean, the fact, if you watch the clip back again and watch the guy fall over, there's a 200-pound Jeremy Beadle clip there. I'm telling you now, it made me laugh. If you haven't seen it, go and look for it. That was the first thing. The second thing, of course, was the disturbing homophobic chants aimed at Ben Chilwell towards Ben Chilwell from the Millwall fans, okay, and his association with Chelsea. Paul, I don't think anything else needs to be said, really, but your thoughts on it?
They have formed for it. They were complained in the last round. They went to Leeds and were singing about the Leeds supporters that were killed in Turkey all those years ago. Yeah, they. I mean, Millwall Football Club even tweeted before the game on their official site, "Please don't do anything to bring our club into disrepute." The fans don't give a monkeys. They'll sing what they want, and like I say, it was predictable, to be honest, that any Chelsea connection would be stamped on with that sort of song. The "Let Him Die" chant, they're not going to get charged for because the FA can't do anything about that. Sadly, as Jel says, it's a historic chant, but it's one that's been used in football over the years. Most clubs use it in jest, but Millwall obviously don't. But yeah, hopefully, I'm sure they'll have the book thrown at them by the powers that be, because obviously they're very hot on chanting like that.
As your thoughts on that subject, mate?
Say no more, really. Just sums them up, doesn't it, as a club?
I'm obviously choosing my words carefully, okay? And so I won't. Jel, go on, mate. Again, be careful what you say, please.
No, I know. I mean, like you say, they just do it. It's not banter when they're singing, the "Ooh, Canton are," because obviously that led to a Palace fan dying. It's just, like I said, I mean, they should have just had Millwall FC 1983. That's just what they are. Just 1983.
What is it with kung fu? What is it with kung fu kicks at Sellers Park? I just, we've got the can.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like this is what I'm saying. I'll say it again. Cantona got an 8-month ban for that. I know he kicked a fan, but I'll be amazed if this fella doesn't get banned. Because one shot out of the area, he doesn't do it in the area. I mean, it's still no excuse for it, but you do it in the area, fair enough. But it's not fair enough. But when you're outside the area, you're treated as an outside player, and you can't, as an outfield player, you can't do that. Get onto the Football Association and just say, I hope he gets banned. I mean, I've never seen. We've spoken to Steve Parish, both you and I, many times over the years, interviewed him and been alone with him, and he's always very guarded. Whenever you see him interviewed on TV, it's always very guarded. That live interview he did on the BBC on the pitch side, he turned around, he was furious, and he actually turned around and said, that goalkeeper needs to take a good long look at himself. Like, I mean, for our chairman, he was, like I say, he was fuming. No excuses. Not having it at all.
Okay, full time at the BBS Stadium. Crystal Palace 2, Arsenal 2. A credible point. I'm going to leave the subjects of the Millwall goalkeeper and talk about relevance, really. Okay, even if he did get banned, it won't affect Millwall or their potential promotion running, because he's not even their number one choice goalkeeper. He's their cup goalkeeper. Ian Lyons summed it up nice in the chat. Lyons, you get on the show next week, mate, please. And he said they rely on the oxygen of any controversy gives them. It's what keeps them relevant every 2 years or so. And do you know what, mate? I'll make you bang on. And, they want to be relevant. And no one likes this stuff. Okay? That's why. I mean, they're not even relevant anymore. They're not even, to me, they're not even part of the football. If they can sing songs, the homophobic chant songs, they're not even part of the football pyramid. They're not part of the football community. The best thing that could ever happen to them is they could get relegated. Leo, you getting tired yet, mate?
No.
You all right? Are you sure you're still with us? Go on, Paul. Stop.
A question. So a question in the chat earlier. Leo, who's your favourite Palace player?
JP.
JP. Good on you. Get your dad to give him a ring. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm being good. I'll behave myself. Results from our other teams since our last show. The under-21s on Monday in the Premier League League 2 Division 1 at the Armco Arena played West Brom, and they ran out 2-0 winners against West Brom. The under-21s go out this evening, as I've just said. They finished 2-2 at the VBS Stadium. That's in the League 2 Division 1. The under-18s on Saturday, the 1st of March, under-18s at Motspur Park played Fulham, and they also ran out 2-0 winners, okay? And the women, as I previously mentioned, yesterday at the VBS Stadium, they sadly lost. It was a credible result for them, 1-0 against the Scousers. So going back to the FA Cup, gentlemen. So the full round, the full draw is as follows. Bournemouth at home to Man City, Brighton versus Nottingham Forest or Ipswich, and I believe Forest have just equalised in the 68th minute, and they have just equalised, so it's 1-1 in that game, and the winners go on to play Brighton. Preston versus Aston Villa, and obviously Fulham versus Palace. So, as we're going to come to you first, the team to beat is still Man City, even though they're having a bit of a torrid time at the moment, would you say? Is it theirs to lose?
Yeah, I think so. On paper, you'd probably say it was them. Obviously, Forest, as we know, are doing really well. I don't know. I suppose we're in good form. Let's just hope that we get into the next round after this one. Let's say, and go from there really. But they're all teams we can beat. And yeah, I think most of them that we beat already this season. So yeah. Say no more, really.
Paul, I'm coming to you because I'd like to know when do we get to play Brighton? In which round would you like to play Brighton? And in the chat, when would you like to play Brighton? Semi-finals or the final? You tell me where. Do you really want to play Brighton at Wembley? Okay.
I don't. That's my worst nightmare playing them. It was bad enough in the playoffs with the pressure and the stress of that, but it's the ultimate heaven or hell game, isn't it? If you win it, you've got it for the rest of your life. You've always got it over them. If you lose it, you're going to be suffering it for the rest of your life. I'd much rather avoid them, to be honest. Quite frankly, as you said, with the draw, there's 4 teams in it this year. Bournemouth, Fulham, Palace, and Brighton, who have never won the FA Cup. So there's a 50% chance a new team's going to win it. All the teams there really are on good form, and you could see any of them really, given a bit of luck on the draw, doing that. And I'm finding myself getting a bit too sort of optimistic at the moment, which I don't like doing. It's just like I don't. just try and temper a bit, because they say if we did get to the semi-finals, it's going to be anyone's game really, because the way City are playing, all those teams really much of a muchness at the moment, and you could see anyone winning at the moment, and that's as much us as anyone. So, but yeah, I'd love to play with Brighton at Wembley if we were going to win. If we lose, it would just be horrendous. So, I'd happily avoid them all the way.
Thank you, Jel. I'm coming to you in a second. Leo, answer the question, please. It was on screen a minute ago. You saw the question. It was people are writing in and asking you questions. This is not the Leo show, by the way, but it's turning into the Leo show. Leo, answer the question that's set to you, mate. Have you seen Palace at Wembley? Said Paul Bristow.
Yes. I think it was a few years ago when we had Vieira.
Chelsea, wasn't it, in the semi-final?
When we lost.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get over that defeat? A few days.
Yeah.
Just take your misery out on your father, okay? Make him suffer a little bit. So next time you see Palace at Wembley, we'll win. I'll tell you now. You'll win. Jel, when do you want to see us take on Brighton?
Well, firstly, if we can get past Fulham, we've all been lured in by this 2-0, win in the league. If we can get past Fulham, I would rather. I mean, I don't really care if we play them in a semi-final or play them in a final. If we can win our games. All I know is if we can get to Wembley, we won't lose to Man United. And that's all for me, that's huge, because obviously, we should have beat them last time. We were robbed by the referee, and we should have beat them in 90, and we were just really unlucky. But my son-in-law is Man United as well, so at least they're out, which is.
I forgot that you were good friends with Mark Clattenburg. You got a lot of time for him, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean,
Easy. Easy.
Yeah.
Be careful. Right, okay. Nigel, upcoming fixtures, please. So now that the only game that we're waiting for, if so, again, for the benefit of the people listening on the podcast and not watching this, on screen we have 6 fixtures. Palace at home to Ipswich this Saturday at 3 o'clock kickoff. The Fulham game in the FA Cup quarterfinals hasn't been confirmed yet as we speak. Then we're away at Southampton, home to that lot of the South Coast on the 5th of April, away at Man City on the 12th of April with 12:30 kickoff, and that's on TNT Sports. And then we are away at Geordieland on Wednesday. That's an awful trip for you lot. I ain't going up there because it's my birthday week that week. Okay, Newcastle away on Wednesday, the 16th of April, 7:30 kickoff. How on earth, Paul, do you get home from Newcastle on that night? You don't, do you?
You don't. No, you got to stay over. I mean, I'm a bit upset about that one myself because, as people on the podcast know, I miss the only times I miss Crystal Palace games when I'm in Las Vegas, and I'm going to Las Vegas in April. So I was all set to just miss Man City away, but they very kindly arranged that while I'm away as well. So I've got to miss 2 that week, which is horrendous thought for me. So I don't have to worry about that. But I know my travelling crew are all booked into hotels. But yeah, it's the only way, and it's. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. We didn't have a chance. When they do it for TV or something, it's frustrating. This one was always going to get moved because of them getting to the cup final. So it's no one's fault.
So this crew of yours, is it you, Yaz, and Noble? Do you have bunk beds or something?
And Grant and Ian Donald. I mean, there's 6, 7 of us. My niece, my dad. There's a good group of us. So yeah, but no, we all have separate rooms.
Right, we're going to finish up with results, with predictions, please, for Saturday's game against Ipswich. Holyoke first, please.
2-0.
The predictable 2-0. Okay. Paul Gear.
I'm going to go, yeah, well, it is probably the most obvious 2-0 in history. Hopefully.
Okay. Azza.
I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 Palace.
2-1 Palace. And then the person in the room that has spoken the most sense tonight, Leo, your predictions, please.
2-1 as well.
2-1 as well. John Knox is saying 3-0. Brian's saying 5-1. Paul saying 3-0. Good evening, Paul. I can see you, mate. Daniel's saying 4-1. Lots of them. Keep you. Claire Davis, I love you. Come on the boat, my darling. Bring your bucket with you. You know the rules. She's saying 3-1. Jel, you were about to say, it's a collection bucket, you bunch of rude people, is what I'm talking about. You know that. Okay, Jel.
I just only just to appease me. Someone's pulled the stat out that the 5 2-0 away results has never been done before, haven't you? Have you had that on our podcast yet?
Stato.
No, I'm just saying. Has anybody in the last 2 shows? The 5 away games that we won 2-0 in a row. I don't think it's since stats have begun since 1878 or something like that. I don't think it's ever been done. Paul Bristow, no, because he's a proper stato. So I'm pretty sure that 5 game away from home has never been done before. So again, it's another first for Crystal Palace. I'm pretty sure that's right. But again, someone will, if it isn't right, someone will put me right in the chat.
Yeah. I've seen it online, but it's one that I don't tend to throw out stats unless I've verified them myself, and I don't really want to go through every single football league history record to find that one out. But it would be very unlikely that someone's won that 5 games.
I'm surprised you haven't got a spreadsheet with it, Gear. I'm very surprised. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up there. It's nearly 9:05. Leo's got to get to bed. Gel's got to get to bed. We will be back on Sunday the 9th of March at 8 o'clock. Okay, Sunday the 9th of March at 8 o'clock. Paul and Jel, thank you for joining us. Azza, great to see you, mate. But most importantly of all, Leo, you're a top bloke, mate. You're welcome on here anytime. Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Out in Facebook land, out in YouTube land. Stay safe. God bless. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.